this was I guess a few weeks to maybe a month ago that we got the announcement that like there was an Insomniac like hack kind of like breach and like a ton of stuff got leaked, and like this was one of the things that not the trailer but the information on it. So basically this was a multiplayer Spider-Man game made by Insomniac, and it was going to be kind of like they call it like a multiverse model. So like basically the multiverse in their universe was going to be opened by Madam Web, and you would
which is by Dakota Johnson.
I don't think so. I hope not.
Does Dakota Johnson make a cameo?
But well, what's funny is that
does she talk about how her mom did some research in the Amazon
right before her mom died?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like the original leak like had it as like Scarlet Witch was going to open the portal.
Oh yeah,
and then like pictures came out and everyone's like, that's Madam Web. And so yeah, apparently the person just for some reason thought Madam Web looked enough like Scarlet Witch. But yeah, so some details. I mean, we get to see you and 4 other Spider-Man fighting villains in New York City against the Sinister Six, which they describe. The trailer's narrated by Yuri Lowenthal, who voices Spider-Man, and so you get to basically kind of customize your own Spider-Man and play with like a diverse range of Spider-Man. Like they included Gwen Stacy in there, and
I think like Ben Reilly.
Sure, I think probably. So yeah, I think there's a lot of conspiracy around this leak at the moment. One being that they maybe purposely leaked it to get some interest in it, to maybe like restart like development on it, because this is one of the games that are canceled for Insomniac right now. Now I think the trailer isn't like the most exciting thing, but it is like it does show us the concept, the base concept of this game, and I don't know. I think it is a missed opportunity, but I don't feel like they got like super far into development with like what we saw. I don't know if you kind of feel the same.
I mean, it feels like those character designs, and like even though I think we weren't seeing a whole lot of how like the game would actually play, like I feel like it felt like there was a good amount of development. I don't know, because I don't really pay too much attention to like,
I guess for
I
me,
wouldn't know when a game is necessarily like super far in development and
right.
So
like for me, it just felt like I was seeing a lot of the same assets that we had already seen in previous games.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, well, maybe they would do something like a little different, so we're not just like playing the same game we've been playing for like years with our friends at this point. And I
guess this would be the thing is like, are you playing only with NPC characters, or could you potentially play with your friends?
It would be with friends, I'm pretty sure.
Well, maybe I think that's the added thing. That's the right. What if, because you can't play like Spider-Man 2 with a friend. So.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know. I think the 5 Spider-Man like aspect is interesting, because like I don't think I really ever see many games like go to 5 players instead of like 4 or more, or like an even number or whatever. And then like for a multiverse, you would assume that you would just have like servers, and then you would log onto a server and you would see hundreds of other Spider-Man, because it's like the multiverse. But if you're just playing with like 4 other Spider-Man, it feels a little underwhelming in a sense.
I guess my takeaway from it is similar to Across the Spider-Verse. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. Like they're maybe synced up. Like that's your Spider Task Force,
Spider Squad.
X, that's your Spider Squad. Uh-huh. And you're all on a mission, and you all collectively like are synced up so that you go to the, or whatever, however they want to do it. Like
I could be down for like a Spider Squad in a sense. That makes sense.
I feel like the idea of seeing hundreds of Spider-Men just like online flipping through the streets. Like maybe it could be fun, but it kind of sounds a little too chaotic.
Sure, it's a little chaotic.
So the idea of like having your squad go on like a mission, and it's almost like a kind of like raids, or just like, like I'm it's appealing, and I now what you were saying about did they leak this to generate interest?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what Ryan Reynolds did for Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly.
And so maybe, hopefully it happens, like similarly to I hope
in a sense.
I feel like there's been a lot of leaks of things recently. Like there's this
hackers are getting good.
Batman Beyond, concept art was coming out, and I would worry that like it was like a novel thing when it happened with Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. And people were like, there weren't leaks necessarily that way before, but now they're happening all the time. Maybe they won't have the thing to get it like the general interest. Maybe it will. I mean, as much as people like were upset about Coyote versus Acme, like now granted, like they're still in negotiations, which is cool. So it's kind of working, but it's also like nobody's still buying it. So
right.
Is it going to be enough to get this game to actually happen? I don't know. A game takes a lot longer than a movie.
Well, that's the thing is like, do I even want this to happen in a sense? Because the other two games they're working on, which I would want more, are the Wolverine game and Spider-Man 3. And Spider-Man 2 like took 5 years to make in technically, and it still felt like rushed. So I don't know, like maybe this is a good thing that they scaled back like what Insomniac is working on, and they can focus more into those two projects. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm giving them less credit than they deserve because they do put out a good amount of games. But yeah, I just felt like Spider-Man 2 needed more time. And if that means canceling this strengthens the other two, then I could be fine with that. I could.
I think this particular type of game like makes me think of games like Arkham Origins, makes me think of Fallout 76. And it's this like Arkham Origins maybe is not the best like thing to say, but like definitely 76, where it's a traditional game that is story RPG. They but they then try to take it into an online space.
Right.
And it's almost like a rush to make it happen where it wasn't intentionally supposed to be like that.
But also like the core gameplay's changed, like it's not really like Fallout 76. There weren't people in the world. You were only interacting with other online people. And with this, I feel like you would also lose like that cinematic aspect, like a lot of the missions are very like, I don't know, like there's cut scenes that are like movie-esque, and you get a lot of like cool mission set pieces. And I don't know if you would have that kind of stuff in an online game.
Right. I mean, I feel like the closest you could get to it is the way that I think they used to do it for online PC games. Maybe they still do it. I don't know. I haven't gamed like on a PC in forever. But you would get to like, you would go with your group, or you would go to this part of the world, and then the cutscene would happen. But it's not like a cutscene of your characters. It's just like a cutscene of events happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
like in GTA Online, like the cutscenes that were there were all like, you were all like listening to the contact like speak, and you would be nodding because your characters didn't have voice lines, and then that would be it. And you're like, okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So, So
I hear you. Would I want this to actually happen? Only if it actually like it felt like it was good.
Right.
Which, like, you never really know all the time. I mean, sometimes you know. Sometimes you look at Madam Web and you go, I shouldn't have put that out.
Yeah, that was a pretty obvious one. But I agree. I think there was a good chance for this to be good, but also like equally maybe to be bad. So I don't think it's like the hugest loss. Like I think they had a lot of potential, but I'm okay with it kind of falling to the wayside.
Also, I think it sets up a lot for disappointment. To be honest, like we've seen video games come out, Starfield, whatever that game was a while ago, where there were the promise of like 100 thousands of planets you could go to.
Oh, No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, and so
that
like
bounced back, but yeah,
the idea of going into multiverses, I feel like it's like, well, you can go into like 5 different universes, which is
I mean, at the most, right?
Still cool.
Because all we ever saw was New York in that game. So like, would we really be seeing like different? I don't know. Maybe it's possible. I would hope if for a multiverse game there to be other worlds, but I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel like the potential for a letdown is high, unless they say, look, only some multiverses, you know.
But even then, they'd be like, oh, come on, guys.
And they better be like cool, fleshed out universes.
Right. Like give me Spider-Man India, you know?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because that's a cool ass universe.
Or the Spider, you know, I think we say the Gwen Stacy, like the Spider-Gwen universe is like cool because of the color palette. Besides that, it's still just New York. It's
New York, right. But Gwen Stacy's the main character. So.
Right.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page.